I also don't want to show up with a physique that's like, oh yeah, Nick looks good.
Sure.
For me now with how the past 2 years went, I need to show up where people go, oh yeah, Nick's back. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Exactly.
I can't just show up anymore. I have to blow minds at this point.
Does
Yeah.
that make it more stressful? Do you feel that he?
No, no. To me, it'll make it more funner because I think I thrive in a certain threshold of pressure. And when I meet my own expectations, I just think it works out in my favor.
Mhm. That's
I
fair.
don't like when I hear things on the internet and all that stuff. That stuff never bothers me. I never give it any type of pressure that I just put it on myself for the most part. So this time around, it's like I know what I have to do, but I'm not gonna like just dwell on that.
Yeah.
I want to just do what I do best and have fun with it, and that's when I'll progress the most.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Blood, Sweat, and Gear with coaches Skip Hill, Andrew Berry, myself, Scott McNally, and we are joined by Nick Walker. What's going on, brother?
What's up, man? Thanks for having me on.
Dude, it is our pleasure. Guys, we are brought to you by TrueNutrition.com. Use our code THINK over there for additional savings, high-quality third-party tested supplements, supplementsource.ca for our Canadians. And, of course, thank you to everybody from Patreon for helping to make this thing happen. We know we can't count on YouTube. So let's get into this thing, man. What are we going to talk about today?
Well,
Where are we going with this, Andrew?
Yeah, I want to start with, obviously there's been some changes for you in your life, Nick, and I want to know, who you're working with now, what your plans are for this year, because we've got a couple big shows. You got the Olympia, which we know you're always going to do, but we also got the Arnold, which they increased the prize money to, $300K? So I just wanted to hear you talk about what your year looks like and what you think, how you think it's going to go and everything.
All right. So as of right now, I'm not immediately working with anyone. I'm kind of doing my own dieting and stuff. I know how to kind of do that part at this moment. As far as training goes, I did link up with Jared Feathers, who is, I guess, part owner of the RP Strength Style Training. And he's kind of been in control of that for me recently, and I like it a lot, actually. Like, I was also the type of a guy who lifted. Like, if you asked me if I liked that style 2 or 3 years ago, I would say that was probably the most corniest type of training I've ever seen in my life. But once I got to train with Jared and he actually put me through some workouts, I'm like, wow, this shit's intense. This is not what I had in mind. I'll never forget. It was after the Arnold. I think it was like 2 weeks after. He said, let me put you through one workout, and if you don't like it, we ain't gotta do it again. I said, cool. I said, I want to do legs. So he said, okay. You can always tell a good workout by legs. That's how I always do it.
Mm-hmm.
We did 3 exercises. We did seated leg curl, we did a leg press, and a hack squat. We did 2 sets each. And that workout, I was fried for days.
What was different
For
about
days. It was like the way I would normally train with the slow negatives and things like that, but it was just with twice as much intent with every rep.
it? Okay.
And I don't think my body was like used to it, and it just fried me out because they're very with the slow negatives, and then they like to pause for a good hot 2 seconds in the stretch and then explode right up and work out in that manner. And I think because my body just wasn't used to it, I was pretty fucked for a few days afterwards. But now that I train that way, I still get that fatigue feeling, not as bad anymore. But I did that entire style probably for my entire 2023 prep, where I really thought that was going to be the year for me before I got injured. But I stepped away from that in the 2024 season. But now I kind of want to resort back to it because I really enjoyed that training, and I thought it was probably going to bring one of my best looks.
Going back to that training session, were there any like different cues that Jared gave you that you just hadn't used on your own? Because I know you've always been, especially this last 5 years, super controlled with your training, super controlled negatives, not cheating the reps, not faking yourself into thinking that you're stronger than you are with movements. Like, you're actually doing the movements correctly. But were there any different cues that he gave you that kind of rang home?
Yeah, like I said, they're all about the full range. So like he pretty much forced me to go like on a leg press deeper than what I normally would go, and he knew I could do it. And for a long time, like for me, right, we think going wide on a leg press, wide and toes out, that's probably going to hit more of the inner quad and stuff. But for me, that hit exactly what I needed to hit, and that was my sweep. My sweeps were so pumped after doing it in that fashion that now that's just literally how I do my leg press. And I do think my outer sweeps have come up drastically from that. And then pretty much we did the same thing on the Smith squat. We would go down real slow, and they're big advocates of just pausing in the hole
Yeah.
and then exploding up. And it's like I did those things, like I said, but like not to the intent of which he had me do it.
Yeah.
And it just the pump that I had in my legs were absolutely, it was insane that day.
I'm behind that
That's awesome.
100%, man. That's the stuff that I absolutely love. I feel like, for every action, say coming down on a squat, there's that equal and opposite reaction. And if you just come straight back
Yeah.
up, there's an element of like transference. You know what I mean? That energy has to go somewhere. But man, if you take like a legit pause at the bottom, there's no question, man.
It's hard.
It's like a dead
Yeah.
stop,
Well, there's no
Well, 'cause I
momentum.
was even in that workout,
Right.
like a Smith squat, right? I'm very used to like Smith squatting 405, 495 on a Smith. And no joke. I had a plate and a quarter on each side and
You're
I did it
kidding.
for 8 reps, and my legs were fried. Yeah.
Isn't that
Can
awesome?
I piggyback off of that real quick? I'm gonna put Vacky 96 in comments here. Everyone says the same. It's only because the high time under tension takes you much muscle damage. Anyway, his point is, in my opinion, it's kind of an oversimplification. There is an element of time under tension. I completely agree. But I think what some people miss, and I don't know if this guy who commented misses it, but a lot of people miss it. What they don't understand is the amount of time that Nick has been training, the amount of time when people have been training a long time, there is a different feel. And I don't want to explain this. I want you to explain it from your perspective, Nick, because
Okay.
you touched on this and it just clicked. And it's hard to explain something like this to somebody when they have not experienced or they don't know what it is. It was the comment, and I'll let you take it from here. It's not about moving away from point A to point B. And just, I'll leave an ellipsis at the end and let you take it.
So I think you develop this type of, and this is where people will debate that bodybuilding is not a skill or not, which I truly disagree with. I think it takes tremendous skill. And I think when you are experienced enough and doing this a long time, you will develop a certain skill to where like you can connect with a certain muscle that you want to hit over time, and weight becomes irrelevant to a certain degree. And I think like with the leg press, for example, that Jared had me do, he had me go in a certain way where he was like, I just want you to do everything you can to focus on your outer sweep. I said, okay. So I literally just visualized it. And every rep, I would like almost force my outer sweep to do all the work. And it did. And my outer sweeps, I think, have grown. And I could always tell too, right? Because the following week, I try to go a little heavier and repeat it. But because I went a little heavier, it
Right.
kind of took away from me hitting that certain spot, and everything else started to take over. So I was like, okay, I'm not ready for this weight yet. So I would go up, instead of going up a plate, I put a quarter on, and the quarter worked. So I said, okay, I'm a little stronger than I was last week, so that's cool. So I think it's a certain skill that you develop over time. And with this training, it's a more frequency based type of training, to where like I have developed that certain skill to where I'm at a point now where I don't need to train to the ultimate failure anymore. I think failure is appropriate. I think there's a time and a place for it, but there's, when you get to a certain point when you're just able to really just connect and contract the muscle with every rep, like it's, like it's nothing. Sometimes going to failure can be very counterproductive to a degree, and especially with the frequency that we do, it isn't always needed. Sometimes I prefer to just get a big ass pump in my leg and call it a day and go home, knowing I'm going to hit it in 3 to 4 days and not feel dead walking into that next session and feel fresh. And and when I did that in the off season going into my 2023 season, I think I improved the most, in that time frame. So I wanted to get back to that.
Can I keep going with this, Scott? Because
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just think this is just important. And I still don't know if we're able to convey to people who don't understand it, but I would say this, and tell me if you disagree with this, Nick. I think the closer you get to failure, you almost lose contractile force, and failure then wants to recruit secondary muscles, especially if it's a compound movement, to help keep that. It's kind of like,
No, it is, because your body, you start to hit that threshold to where your body's probably like, oh shit, like we're hitting that point now. So now it's like everything takes over, right?
Mhm.
So I'm at a point where I feel like once I lose that point in whatever area of the muscle I'm trying to hit, I'm done. And I'd rather take a good long rest period, 2 to 3 minutes, whatever it takes, and then just do another set rather than forcing failure
Yeah.
and not getting what I need out of it. I'd rather put it under more time under tension by stopping and going into another set after a good rest period.
Could we
Now
argue
you-
that is failure? You know what I mean? Like that's failure of the target muscle versus, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
to a
failure.
degree. Yeah,
because you're not able to do what you intended to do any further. So I would even say that might even be maybe not like failure in the sense that we all traditionally think of, like the bar stops moving, but like if I can't keep a press in my pec anymore and I feel like it's all shoulders, there's no sense in going out.
Well, then it almost might be true failure because it's failure of the intended muscle. And you're
Right.
not cheating yourself into tricking yourself into thinking you're getting more reps just because you're letting your shoulders take over on a chest exercise or your triceps helping out or a different part of your legs to do the movement. It's true failure for the intended muscle. And the benefit of that, you could argue, is that you're now saving on the recovery end.
Yes.
For those other intended body parts that you're going to train later. Yes. Well, not just CNS, but that individual body part that might be helped. Like, let's say you're trying to work your chest, but your shoulders are taking over. Well, if your shoulders are doing 4 of those reps at the end of the set that you're counting as a chest workout, now when you go to do your delt work, you've already kind of emptied the tank on them a little bit. They're not going to be 100% when you do your delt workout.
so it's not just limiting. People need to understand this too. It's not just limiting during the set. It's a limitation too as far as volume is concerned, because you're also not banging out set after set if it's not getting you to, if you're not getting that feeling and you're losing contractile force. So that's keeping your volume down as well, and that can contribute to the frequency, because you said you're training this way more frequently, correct?
Yeah. Right now we have a block set up to where I'm doing legs twice a week and chest twice a week to bring those areas up. So
Nice.
back volume is kind of a little on the lower end, while the chest and the leg volume is a little up during this block.
So do you have a hard, and this is just for like kind of like the visual for people to understand, do you have like a set kind of a hardened schedule, or does it kind of rotate based on, it's like, can you say this is what I'm doing on Monday or this is what I'm doing on Wednesday, or is it a rotation that's kind of black and white?
I have set exercises on Monday, I have set exercises on Tuesday, I take off Wednesday, I have a set exercise on Thursday, set day Friday, and a set day Saturday, and then I take off Sunday.
Okay, so if you train legs, just hypothetically on a Monday, when do you train them again that week?
Friday.
Okay. And similar gap in between with
So I'll lay it out for you. So Mondays, I would say, are like a more hamstring day, so to speak. So I start with adductors, and then we go to seated leg curl, and then I'll go to RDLs, and then I'll go to a leg press, and then I'll finish off with one set of Bulgarians. And then Friday, we'll start with adductors again, and then we'll go to leg extensions, and then we'll go to a hack squat, and then we'll finish off with more of like a lighter seated hamstring.
So you kind of flip flop, like Mondays heavier hamstrings, a little bit lighter on the quads, and then Fridays a little bit harder on the quads, a little bit lighter on the hammies.
Yeah.
Cool.
Exactly.
Yeah, I do the same thing actually.
Now, I'll throw one more thing at you, because this may help to people to understand too. And again, this is a correct me if I'm wrong, because if I'm looking at it differently than you, feel free to just shut up.
Of course.
Go back to Korean pornography that you were talking about. But I don't even know if it's Korean. Maybe it's Thai, or I don't know. They're going to be somebody Korean is going to respond in the comments going, that was just not very politically correct. We don't do that in our porn. But anyway,
we don't do that shit here.
That's a different culture. You've got your cultures screwed up. Okay, so what I'm wondering is this the best way to explain it? It's the best way that I explain it. So if there's a way that you do it, I might think, oh, That's a better way to explain it. I literally convey to my clients that, again, the point A to point B, where it's just not about that. At the beginning, that's a very oversimplified. Yeah, you're moving the weight from point A to point B. You're not going to get someone at those early stages to understand the nuances of different parts of a rep. However, once you get in deeper, it's almost, and this is how I explain it, it's almost like a, excuse me, a stretch and squeeze or a posing with the muscle. And I use the bench press even as an example, because at least with like a cable fly, you can see, okay, I can pose with that. Like it's a strap, like I'm doing the most muscular. That one's easy. But what about a bench press or a dumbbell press? That still, to me.
Okay. So for example, I did chest today with a friend of mine who has not trained this style before, and the first exercise we did was an incline Smith. So I asked him originally. I said, "How heavy do you normally go on this?" And he said, "No, I could probably do 315 for probably 8." I said, "Okay, not today though, so that's cool." So
Not today,
he
though.
only went up to 270. He only went up to 275 and only got like 6 reps. And I had to show him. I said, "This is what I want you to do. I want you to lower it. It's very slow." I said, "Don't think with your elbows. Don't think with your triceps. I want you to just visualize your chest and bring it down slow with your chest. And just hold a stretch right above. Don't let it sit, but just hold the stretch right above it. And then force your chest up and almost pretend like you're forcing your elbows in to a degree, but obviously you're not, but you're visualizing it, and just squeeze the shit out of it. And then just repeat the same thing." And he did it. He did it correctly the first time. I was shocked because not many people can do that. But he even said, just even though it was not what he was used to, he felt more of a bigger pump doing that than he's ever trained on an incline Smith before. And I just think when you can really develop that skill, it's just going to transform your physique without having to bury it with weight all the time.
Thank you for tuning in. And if we are providing value to you today, let me encourage you to subscribe and hit the bell. We have several bodybuilding podcasts that come out each week.
And you don't have to, I would argue that you don't even have to focus as much on all the minutia of the elbow needs to be here, the wrist needs to be here. If you feel it and you only focus,
Correct.
That's why you said closing your eyes, close your eyes. Because if you feel
That
it
helps.
working the way that it's supposed to, and you feel it a way that you have not felt it before, I can almost assure you that your mechanics are about as sound as they're going to get.
Yeah.
Because the mechanic issue, it's so, I love it. I love that perspective. I love
And
that
I think,
mentality.
and I think with the frequency of it, right? So we're not necessarily taking these sets to failure. Maybe like 1 to 2 reps in the tank, I would say. So you're getting the full pump, no matter what. It's like these aren't easy sets, but it's just not to the ultimate failure because of how we're gonna, hit it again in 3 to 4 days. But I feel since I've been doing it, my strength has increased a lot faster than if I was to take sets to the crazy failure. So like last week, doing it this way, I did 315 on the incline bench for 8. Today, I did 325 for 8, and it still felt relatively easy.
Yeah.
So it's my strength is increasing pretty, and I kind of want my friend to kind of hop on it because I'm curious how much he can progress. But I think when you're able to really just stimulate the muscle without annihilating the shit out of it and hit it again more frequent, it's just going to save your joints. It's going to save your CNS system. But I also think you're just going to get stronger a lot faster that way.
And you increased in
tests-
weight, but not necessarily on purpose.
Yes.
And I think people need to hear that because it's ingrained in us. We're wired to come in the next week and, oh, well, if I can get 2 more reps, if I can get another rep, if you
Yeah.
can somehow compartmentalize that and go, I just don't care. I'm going to take this set to the point of just targeting the muscle. And again, time under tension. I mean, we've had this discussion, whatever, on the show about time under tension versus reps. I still think the number of reps does not matter. It's our way of gauging
It's-
time under tension.
I agree.
Let
I
me
agree.
ask-
And
Sorry,
again,
Bob.
I think it's the intensity. It's not so much the intensity of the set for me anymore. It's the intensity that's applied to every rep that I do now. And I think when you're able to just imply a certain amount of intensity so fucking hard, whether it's 6 reps or 20 reps, and you don't have to go to that crazy failure, it's gonna hurt no matter what, and you're gonna get a pump regardless. you know?
You want out of that set, no
Let me
matter if
ask you
you're a
two things.
failure or not.
Yeah, I know.
Let me ask you two things, Nick. First, when you switched over to this training, was it not?
Yeah.
I know you don't have like an ego as a training because you'll do whatever it takes to get better. Like if someone says that doing 1 pound pink dumbbells for whatever, that'll make you Mr. Olympia, you're going to do it. But did it kind of hit your ego a little bit to have to take like 30 or 25% of your weight off to really make this happen? Because I think that's a big reason why a lot of people wouldn't do this kind of training. It's like, well, if I could do 3 plates on an incline bench, there's no way I'm going to start over with 2 plates. You know what I mean?
Good point.
No, honestly, no, because well, at first when I trained legs with Jared, right, we had like 5 plates aside on the leg press, and I'm like, are you fucking for real, bro? and he's like, trust me, and I'm like, okay. I mean, by rep 10, my legs were already on the shake side a little bit. I'm like, no fucking way, dude.
Yeah.
Were you like,
But,
is anyone videoing this?
I
People are going to
wasn't
say
like,
Nick's getting weak.
yeah. But it didn't like hurt my ego because I'm like, dude, my legs are fucking pumped. And he's like, I know, dude. So for me, no, because I saw the benefit of it all.
Yeah.
So it didn't really hurt my ego because now I'm like, okay, if I can get back to actually what the weight that I was using in this particular style, I'm like, that's strong as fuck, dude. Like,
Well,
that's my goal.
So let me ask you this, because you were just showing your buddy this training style today, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that do you think he brought a little ego into it, trying to maybe keep up with you in weight or keep up with his preconceived notions of I usually hit 315 on 8? Do you think like his reps would have been a little bit better if he like dropped down to 225 instead of that 275? Is what I'm getting at.
Well, we did. So we did 3 sets total on there. He did 2 sets of 275 for 6 to 8 reps. And then I backed it down for him. I said, let's do like a plate and a quarter for you. I said, let's go real light. And he did, I think, 12 reps with that. And he's like, dude, my chest is, he's like, this is really weird for me, but my chest has never been this pumped in my life.
That's
I said,
awesome.
good. I said, now just progress this way. I said, I know it looks weird, right? Because you got a plate and a quarter on each side. Like, but it's cool. Progress this way, bro. Just progress this way. If you feel it way more than all that other shit, I said, who gives a fuck? Just do it.
Yeah. So let me also ask you, what was the total volume for your chest in this set? Like you did the incline Smith press. What else did you guys do?
We did a flat machine press, and that was it.
So just two exercises and like 4 sets total?
Yes.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
No,
Okay.
no, I'm sorry. 5. We did 3 on the incline, 2 on the flat, so 5.
5 sets total. Okay. I'm just trying to give our listeners like an idea of the total volume, but also knowing that you're hitting your chest twice a week right now. So you're getting
so then
another
we'll
day.
do it again Friday. Fridays will be more. I do basically Fridays just an all type of incline day. So we didn't do any flies today. Today was it was an incline press and then a flat press. Friday will be an incline cable fly and then some type of incline machine press.
I want to ask a little bit about the volume, just to kind of clear it up for everybody because they can't feel what we're talking about here.
So,
well,
as far like volume, as volume is like sets.
I'm sorry, I should say more like the intensity is what I think the word I was looking for. So when you're not going quite to that absolute failure, I mean,
Correct.
Can you try to describe how hard is it when you actually stop? Because I have a feeling you're a strong dude. You know how to push weight and you know how to handle continuing through a set until the muscle stops working. So that
I'll
the
say
end
this.
of that set has to still be pretty intense.
Oh, it is. And I'll say this. I think in order to train in this type of fashion, like I said, I train a failure basically my whole career. I think you need to know what true failure feels like to be able to train in this type of fashion. Because if you don't, you could do a set and be like, yeah, I think I had like 2 more. When in reality, you probably had like 6 or 7. I know what my thresholds are. So when I say I had probably 2 more, I probably had 2 more, maybe 3. I may have fucked up 1.
Yeah.
But I'm right there. So I do think anybody that wants to try it, I think you need to know where your body can actually go as far as failure to really say, okay, I'm good I did 10 reps. I was probably 2 or 3 shy. This is good. I got a good pump. And I think a lot of people that try to do this style don't really know what true failure is, and that's why they don't really progress, because they're stopping way short of their threshold. So for me, I would say you would have to learn what failure is, because like for me, I'll go once because I explode up every rep. So once the explosion up starts to slow down for me, then I'm like I'm nearing that threshold now. So I'll probably do like another 2 reps within that, and then I'm like I'm good there.
Yeah, I like that explanation.
So
I'm over time.
the workouts are very intense by no means. They're not like these pussy ass workouts. I promise you on that every level.
I don't think anyone's thinking
Well,
that.
they're just they're just
you might have people come away from it.
They're just not failure.
Like you can have people come. They could literally listen to this podcast, go into the gym, and go, "This is bullshit. Like this just doesn't even work."
Yeah.
If it doesn't work, you don't know, you don't understand what we're talking about. You're not there yet.
Exactly.
It's much like the premise of DC training and everything else. When people be like, "Oh, this just really isn't bad." I would argue that going to failure all out isn't even as difficult. There's exceptions because of legs and shit like that, but this is going to the point where the set stops because you're just like, you're almost mentally thinking, just get me out. This is so incredibly uncomfortable. Where when you go to failure, a lot of times, I mean, you lose the contractile force. I don't want to say you go numb, but you unless it's the first or second set to failure. After that, I'm smiling for the last 2 minutes while you guys are talking, because I had a chest workout yesterday. I get 2 exercises in, 5 working sets deep, and I literally said to myself, I do not need to do the next 2 exercises. I am blown.
No.
And I did them anyway, like a dumbass. Because I'm transparent, but after 40 years of training, I still will struggle, knowing better that I can walk away after the first 2 sets were able flies, and then the other 3 sets were I have not done a wide, and I love this exercise, wide decline hammer press. It is my favorite chest exercise, done correctly with the seat low so the elbows are high. And it just destroyed my chest after 2, and so I went with a third, and that was it.
That's the bodybuilder's mentality, though. We always just want to do more no matter what.
Yeah. More gear, more cardio, more training.
I can definitely.
I'm injured. I don't know why I'm injured. I don't know why I'm overtrained. I can't figure it out.
But even for me,
I can definitely pick up on that.
When I've done this style, and Jared's like, "Yeah, just 2 chest exercises, bro. I promise you'll be fine." And I'm like, "I don't know, bro. Like, do you know how I train?" He's like, "Yeah, I do. Trust me now." And I'm like,
I gotta answer to people on the internet, bro.
Yeah, I'm like, they're gonna think this is some like pussy shit, bro. Like I'm not. He's like, just trust me. And I did chest with him the first time, and it was 2 exercises, and I'm like, bro, I'm fucking dead, dude. He's like, I know, trust me. So I started doing this, and I just honestly, I like to feel pumped all the time. So like, even training this fashion, I feel like I have a constant pump all day, every day. You know, when I would train to that failure state, I would not have a pump anymore. Like it would just kind of be gone.
You feel wrecked half the time,
I think,
after training like that.
Yeah. And even training this fashion, like I said, even though, it's you just don't tax your CNS system incredibly hard as if you would. Leg days are always going to be taxing no matter what. But if you can find a way to prevent that overly, taxed CNS system, so you're able to hit it more frequently, I don't see how you can't progress faster that way, right? It's like anything. You want to start running. You're going to run once a week, and then you think you're going to progress fast,
right?
No, you're probably going to run 3 or 4 times a week. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Hey,
no, I do have a question. One follow up question to that, because you said you were doing this all like 2023 when you made like some crazy progress, correct, and then you kind of change your training approach in 2024 a little bit. Was that just like
I went back to doing like a whole Dorian Yates style training, 4 days a week, the blood and guts type of stuff. Yeah. And I do feel, obviously, that it works for me. I do feel that works. But I think, like, looking back at, how I was looking going into the 2023 Olympia, and then how I was kind of looking going into like the 2024 New York Pro, I was kind of just like, I progressed a lot better, doing the more frequency type of training.
Yep.
So I just felt at this point in time, it's just appropriate right now to kind of ease my way back into that style.
Well, my question for everyone is, do you think there's something to alternating your training styles? And where I'm going with this is, like, I used to do like DC training for a variation of DC for like 10, 12 weeks or something like that. And then I would do like a John Meadows program and alternate back and forth. And I thought I got a lot out of both of them because the stimulus on my body didn't go stale. You get what I'm saying? There was more volume with the John Meadows type program than a DC 1, maybe 2 sets to failure. And then it's like, okay, now the variable I'm changing is the volume, where I'm bringing the intensity down a little bit because you're not doing those all out, bang your CNS system to the ground, Widowmaker type sets. Do you think, like, did you see any, I guess what I'm asking you, Nick, first is, did you see any of like a jolt in progress switching back to like a Dorian Yates style and maybe it just went a little too long? Or do you feel like, I'm committed to the RP method at this point? I think it's superior to pretty much everything else.
For me in particular, I would prefer, result wise, I felt I got more out of the RP style than I did the Dorian Yates. I didn't like lose size or anything, but I just felt, for me, as like how I felt overall, how the workouts went and things of that nature, and knowing that I'm only going to hit it once a week, and if I fuck up on something, that's just going to mess with my head for the rest of the week.
Yeah.
And knowing, let's just say on the frequency side of things, if you just kind of had like a bad set or maybe like you're going to hit it again in 3 to 4 days. So it's cool. Don't stress too hard instead of waiting a whole 7 fucking days. So for me mentally, and I think result wise, I think I got more out of the RP for sure.
And also too, I think there's that element of like what we talked about, like you had to understand heavy over, full on failure to get where he's at now. So I guess there's a time and a place. I feel like for me, I haven't been going to hard failure for a while now. For me, my age and just health stuff, it's working out for the best. And like you said, man, I used to feel like absolutely freaking wrecked after a workout, And
that's just
now,
cool when you're young, like 18, 19, you're like, fuck yeah, dude, I'm wrecked. Now I don't want to feel wrecked anymore. I want to feel sore, but like I want to be able to function throughout the day.
Yeah.
Yes. I'd rather just feel that fullness and that I get what you're saying with the soreness, because there's always some satisfaction out of the soreness, but I know myself, the time I have felt the most wrecked, I will be crippled sore, and that is not a feeling that is full. It's I could be in a surplus and I just feel like I'm
shit.
Exactly. It's just like I don't feel big, I don't feel full, and then you drop that down. You go a few days without training, you're like, I feel better now than I do when I'm banging at 100% and I've trained for 4 days. So there's something to be said. And it's funny because we're talking about reps in reserve. I know Scott and Andrew are just ready to go, oh, Skip, you're going to sit here on your high horse and talk about reps in reserve? Because I'm not, maybe not high horse, but I have been against the reps in reserve because it's such a huge gray area. But I also admitted in the next breath that I see the logic. It's sensical. And when we talk about
Skip, you've been more accepting, I guess.
Yeah, I've been leaning.
Want to use that word.
I've been leaning.
Yeah, because I feel like in previous episodes you've been saying about how you started to do things a little differently, and it's working. So
yeah,
I think reps in reserve is a phenomenal way to train, but like I said, I think you need to understand what true failure feels like in order to accomplish a training style like that.
Yeah,
of course. I mean, how do you know how to leave reps in reserve? How many reps to leave in reserve if you don't know where your failure point is? So yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We got a question from Nick in the live stream, and he said, "Does Nick have any videos of training this style on his YouTube channel?" And we were actually going to try to bring some YouTube stuff up. All right, let me see if I can find this here. We thought it'd be fun to kind of go over this stuff and talk training with you. See if I can bring us to there we go, the internet, the interwebs. All right, what am I looking at here? This, what video do I want to click on here, Nick?
Big leg workout.
I don't know. That looks like a profile picture for a dating site, though. The truth? Look at
Which
you
one?
looking all sexy.
Oh, like on the couch? Yeah.
Yeah. You could zoom in there. He's probably got fish lips or something, right?
A little bit.
Dude,
I
that's
think I see some fish lips there.
No, it's the casting couch. It's the casting couch. Florida
Wait, what
version.
kind of videos are these?
Some of them are training, some are not. These are like older videos. Damn, those are from old ass videos. Definitely wasn't doing RP then.
Let's see. So here's this is from what, 4 days ago, 7 days ago, but they were probably shot a while ago, I'm guessing. Here's last day at the layer. And that was back in biceps.
You can kind of click on that one because I kind of did it then a little bit. I kind of went back to it a little bit there.
Oh, wait a second. Hold on a second. I'm on my wrong YouTube channel here.
Oh, that could have been bad right there.
What do you mean? I switched to the premium. I bought the premium. It's like so much better.
That's what. So I have
Is
two
it really?
accounts. I've got the live account and the regular account, and I have the premium on the regular account. I was like, why are we getting notifications here? Why are we getting?
This might not be the best video. You're looking a little bit flat there, Nick. Just a little bit. Just saying, like some citrulline and some glycerol or something. That was free. That was just an added gem.
Some
right there.
free tips, free coaching tips from Skip.
And I want to say too,
appreciate
while you're
it.
doing this, Vacky 96, he kind of elaborated, and I may have taken his post out of context because I agree with him. As far as the time under tension, I just thought that I assumed, I'll say it, I assumed that he was just kind of saying, well, everybody does this. See, I have this negative, very cynical.
You do. You read
part of me.
people's
I do.
comments as if that they're really mad at you.
I do.
But yeah, but that's the problem with reading words texted on the internet or through Facebook or
Well,
Instagram is you don't get
specifically
the
YouTube,
inflection of
exactly.
what he's trying to say,
Right. So I apologize because he makes a good point. So I was glad that we had the opportunity to talk about it.
So
It's not an apology, it's
all
an
good.
acknowledgement.
for
Wants to make
audio
it up to
people,
you. He's gonna fly you out to his
There's a
house,
difference.
stay with him for a week to train with him.
for audio people here, Nick's at the Dragon's Lair and he's doing some pullovers for cable pullovers. Now, what would you call this, Nick? Is this like a warm up to your workout? Or?
No, I actually will do working sets there. I'll do
Okay.
a couple warm. Oh, that's my. I love this T-bar.
I love that
But
machine.
yeah, I'll do like two sets there for sure.
Okay.
About 90-10 new tech. There's certain back pieces for new tech.
See if we can get
That
some.
one
love
looks
to
a little
see the
more
T-bar.
upright.
That's 'cause I'm
That's an
too
upright,
big
more of
for
an
some of
upright one too. They're making them
majority
flatter
of
these
all
days, and you
stuff I
can't
love.
breathe
They're
on them.
smooth, very easy.
I just like the seated
The
component.
Lantern's one's good.
Super hard.
I haven't tried any of the new tech stuff yet.
New Tech's golden, bro. It truly is.
I like Atlantis. I like Prime.
I could agree with that.
Arsenal's good. I like Atlantis.
What about Star Trek? No,
Not really.
I hate that shit. I was being
about Hoist?
sardonic.
You didn't
That'll be
mention
our
the
word.
P-word.
That'll be our word for the day, Scott. Sardonic. I was being
Sardonic?
sardonic when I said that. Yeah, it's almost kind of mocking. People get it confused with sarcasm, but sardonic is it's saying something more in a mocking, critical mocking way.
So what do
Star
you?
Trek is garbage.
Are you intentionally, like, say, trying to focus on a certain area of your back with an exercise like this, Nick? Are you thinking to yourself,
Yeah,
like, oh,
this
I'm
one
trying to hit
mainly is
rhomboids?
upper back. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Upper back rhomboids for this one for sure.
I've never used this seated, chest-supported T-bar
Oh,
machine.
it's golden.
It
It's
looks
golden.
nice. It looks great, man. My lower back would love it too.
Yeah, that's the thing I,
I like
find
the
with
line of
T-bar
pull,
is
too.
you mess your lower back up sometimes and the weight gets heavy. Like for me, my lower back always starts to hurt. These things are golden though.
Like, you can't cheat that at all, you know?
Nah.
Now I'm going to go further. I'm going to go one step further and I'll say that because of my history of lower back issues, even though I've been injury free for almost 9 years, I won't have my feet in front of me.
Really?
Can't. It may just be a mental block, but there were times years ago where if I had my feet in front of me for certain rows like that, I could feel the tightness. Didn't injure it that way, but I would feel it. So I always keep them behind me. It's just a me thing. I'm in no way implying that Nick is doing them incorrectly, for the record. So before I get beat up in the comment section, I don't know why that old guy's always got an opinion. He's always talking too much. He needs to shut up more.
We did about 20 reps total, but we did 10 reps. Plus.
Well, Matrix they just crossed you off of their list for potential sponsorship.
100%.
Star Trek won't be
fuck this guy.
contacting me either, so
Yeah.
there's that.
Yeah. Arsenal, they're not a big fan now. 25. Nick likes 25% of their stuff.
Right.
What's it like training at this gym? Do you get a lot of people who are like walking up and asking to take pictures and stuff like that? Because I feel like this is what I would consider to be a tourist gym.
At Dragons, yeah, especially around Olympia. 100%.
God. Yeah.
Let me ask you, Nick, do you try to go to the gym like at certain times when there's not going to be people there? Because I know like out at Gold's Venice, a lot of the pros started training at like 4 a.m. or 10 o'clock at night when most of the general pop wouldn't be in there.
Yeah. I done it now. So like my parents came to Vegas with me. So like I didn't want to train in the middle of the day like I normally would. Just because I wanted to spend time with them. So I actually did start going in the morning. Not super early by any means, like 9, 10 a.m. But even at the Dragons Lair at that time, it was still extremely fucking packed. And I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
damn. But now that I've got on that routine since being in Vegas, I actually enjoy training early in the morning now.
Nice.
What do you like after one meal or after two?
One, I'll get up, relax, chill, whatever I do normally, and then I'll have my first meal, and then I'll go to the gym.
Nice.
I see the Trader Joe's water there.
Yeah, bro.
That's
Trader
my
Joe's
place.
is king.
I love Trader Joe's. All right, so we're going into some biceps now here.
Those are like old school arm blaster.
They really are,
Right,
man.
yeah. I actually
your arms
looked.
are out.
Did you see me? I went like this. Like I'm going to be able to look around him like I'm in the gym with him. Like to see if there's an arm blaster. Did you catch that or no? My dumb ass literally went like this. But your elbow position, your mechanics are so incredibly methodical. And this cuts back to the comment that we always make, and I think I've heard Ron reiterate this too, is every rep should look like the previous rep. It may be a little slower, but the position should be, you should replicate the same position for whether it be elbows, shoulders, for every single rep, 1 through 20.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Nick, have you ever trained with Branch Warren?
No, I don't think I could keep up with that.
I would just love to see what
strong.
that looked like. I know he's strong, but
He would probably hate me with the way I train.
He'd be like, "Fucking pussy, what are you doing? You doing clean reps? What the fuck?
Slow ass bullshit."
If you get any really consistent negative comments on your account, it's probably just Branch Warren trolling you under an anonymous account. The account, it'll be a giveaway because it'll be like, this is not Branch Warren, verified. With the check mark. This is not Branch Warren. You suck, you're a pussy.
So we switched into legs now. I saw you moved into the hip thrust.
Well, I do a little after back. Sometimes I'd always do a little glute.
Okay.
Because normally for me, after I hit a leg day, I don't really want to hit glutes. I'm done.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, after I finish off a back, I got a little left in me, and I'll just do some glute stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. Kind of like in that category of like calves and abs, right? Like, I should do it, but I don't want to do it. So I don't know about you guys, but I try to put that shit first so that I get it out of the way.
Get it out of the way, because once legs are done.
Normally with abs and calves, if I'm doing fasted cardio, I'll just do it after I finish fasted cardio, so I don't got to worry about it later.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
You ever? I know myself. Sometimes when I'm done with legs and I force myself to do some calf work or some ab work, they want to cramp really bad.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, just
My
get me the
abs will
hell out
cramp
of here.
really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't want to create a rabbit hole here with this question, but because you're doing those hip thrusts, I had a conversation with someone the other day. So I'll ask you guys, and I'll start with Nick, but I'll ask the three of you. If you want better glute development, let's say over the course of an arbitrary number, 20 weeks, you just
Okay.
want better glute. Would you go with a hip thrust, a weighted hip thrust, or would you go with lunges?
I find a way to. Well, go ahead, Nick.
No, you can't. You can't break the rules. You have to pick one. You can't be like, I'm going to do both. Of course, I do both.
Well, no, what I was gonna. Well, what I was gonna say is like I'll do lunges on my quad dominant day as a finisher more often than not, like a double pump lunge on each leg. You know, doing like sets of 10 or so. You know, I'll do like usually 2 sets of that, but then like I'll do the hip thrust on my hamstring dominant leg day usually. Or
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys do this, but Bulgarian split squats, if you lean forward just a
I
little
would
bit.
say I'd rather do Bulgarians than either of
Yeah.
the two.
Yeah. So because I was going to say,
Strictly
when I
for
don't do
glutes,
lunges,
so
I'll
you have
do a
to pick one.
Bulgarian split squat.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I'd
So
find-
over hip thrust, correct?
I would take hip thrusts, honestly. I found that my glutes didn't want to grow for anything. So just in my order of development, I had quads before I had anything else. And then I had to work really hard to grow hamstrings next. And then at that point I had, decent quads and hams. They matched everything else, but I didn't have glutes. And I realized that I had all these lower back issues for like a decade. And then I got with one of my bikini clients and I was like, hey, put me through one of your glute workouts. Let's go through this. And so we did that. And I found like, holy crap, after a couple of weeks, like my lower back was feeling better than ever. And I started realizing like my glutes don't turn on. So if I can do something that's just like specifically just hyper glute focused, it works for me, because you know how they always say like, oh man, just squat and you'll get a big butt. Like I'm the opposite of that. It goes just straight to my quads and that's it. So any type of lunge movement, it's there, but I feel it in the hamstrings more. If I do like a specific glute movement, like a hip thrust, then it's freaking golden for me. In fact, I need to get back on those now for my lower back.
How about like one of those like glute kickback machines?
I don't feel like you can load it as heavy. You know what I mean? Like you can't hit it as hard.
Sometimes for me, I'll feel those more than the hip thrust.
Really?
Really?
Okay.
Yeah, it depends on the hip thrust machine or the kickback machine, right?
It depends on the machine, of course.
Yeah,
But if you
yeah.
find that right one, I can get more out of that than the hip
I could buy
thrust
that.
itself.
They got a good one at Gold's or not Gold's, at Bev's gym that me and Meadows used one time for a leg workout. And I can't remember who made it, but like most of the ones that you find in most of the commercial gyms, like they're just not it,
No, they suck. The
Put it this way.
two that I like, New Tech has one that's really good, and I was surprised. Arsenal has one that was really, really good.
Really?
I mean, put it this way, like you
Yeah.
go to the gyms that are, bikini and wellness girl dominant, and they're not using those machines, like it's for a reason. They're doing all the other exercises except those, because the kickback's just not, you don't, honestly,
No,
I
I
usually
don't.
feel a lot of it in my lower back, or I just don't feel it in the glute with great contraction the same way I would doing a
Yep.
Bulgarian or something else,
Bulgarians, I actually, for glutes, if you do them right, I actually like to do the wide squats with holding the dumbbell in between your legs,
Yeah.
and you squeeze your
Oh,
butt
yeah.
coming up. I actually really like those. Yeah.
I could see that. Hey, we got a leg day in here. This was just a few days before that. I'm going to throw this one up on the screen. Oops. There we go. Try that again.
Oh,
there
yeah.
we go.
That was a good one.
And those aren't
We
added
get
to
deep
abs.
as
little
fuck.
bit.
Those are good girl, bad girl.
I'm
It
gonna
took
roll
me.
this
I
a
don't
little
think
bit.
I heard that comment until like 4 years ago, and I
Really?
love, man, something like that. I just go, the person who originally came up with that. That's just that. I like that kind of. I can respect that kind of wit. That's pretty good. Good
That's
girl,
your
bad
style.
girl. And it caught on. And it caught on. Like everybody refers to him like that. I had never heard it. Does that lever come from the one side?
It's in the
right
center.
Yeah.
kind of in the middle. Okay, cool. You guys have that? Are you guys as OCD or as anal as I am?
It's you. It's me.
When
I've
that
heard other
lever
people say
comes
that.
from one side and it's never straight, and I just can't stand it. I need that lever coming from the middle so that I know that
Yeah,
it's
but where
straight.
do you? There's like two machines that do that, though. I feel like almost 95% of machines. Was that?
95% or what?
I was saying 95% of machines come from one. The lever comes from one side or the other.
Yeah, absolutely. These days, you got to go really old school to find one that
Yeah.
comes from the middle for sure. Now, if it has the brake like Strive and the one that Nick was using right there, it comes from one side, but
Yeah.
it doesn't tend to be crooked because it has the middle. What do you want to call it? The middle pole or whatever
Fulcrum.
that both pads
Fulcrum or
sits
something.
on. Yeah, it's
Oh,
just at least those don't tend to be crooked like the old school Icarian. I just see
Yeah.
that and I go, man, it's a great piece, but it's just never straight.
Do we lose
Lost
Nick?
Nick. Yeah, I was waiting
Oh,
for
no.
Skip to finish. He's been gone for a minute. I was going to ask him. I was wondering if this leg press was the style that he was using.
It is
that
because
he
I've
had
seen it in
talked
other
about.
videos. I've seen it in
Yeah.
other videos. I want to go over his flexibility.
Oh man, that's a low angle.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Wow.
There he
angle.
is.
There he
is. We got him back.
we got him back.
Looks like the screen's dark still. There he is.
There he is. So Nick, I wanted to ask you about your leg press. Like, are you doing any extra
Yeah.
mobility and flexibility stuff? Because like you got great depth, dude.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
No, I don't do any,
Really?
bro.
Like,
And the
so
hips are not
did you develop
rolling.
it? Well, did you develop it from doing it this way? Like literally, like starting over
Yeah,
day one
I did
with
it.
lighter
So
weight.
like the first time I trained with Jared on legs, this is how he had me do it, and I just was able to do it.
No
Yep.
kidding. The more I
Yeah.
hear about him, the more I like, because I like a leg press that can be opened wide like that. Like that's, but you don't.
That's the best. The Arsenal's the best.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I like that foot positioning on it too. And so, is this leg press here, the technique you're using, is this demonstrating what we were talking about earlier?
Yes, this is. I feel this completely all in my out sweeps when I do this.
Okay.
I think it also
You
helps
know-
with the depth, though, that's a lower angled leg press. Like, as an example, if he had that back cranked up, that back rest, or if that was a higher angle,
You won't be able to go as deep.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
But still,
But it'll-
that depth. Those hips are not turning. Holy shit. That's pretty good
That's what I'm
flexibility
saying.
for that kind of size. Oh, crap.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. Because otherwise, that's butt wink, and that's a herniated disc right there for quite a bit. It's kind of like getting on the vertical leg press. That takes me to the next question then. Will you leg press on a vertical, especially with that flexibility in your hips? You might get away with that
No.
versus the average person.
I don't like vertical.
It's a dangerous movement. It's a very vulnerable position. Great for calves. When you get into
The last
pressure
time
on
I did
man, it's
it, like, actually, the last time I did vertical was like 4 or 5 years ago, and I actually tweaked my back on it.
yeah.
Yeah.
No kidding.
I think everyone's got that story. I feel like every one of us has that. I got on the vertical and I was, it was great for the first 3 weeks. And then that fourth week I loaded it up and pop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know if there's an older school piece of equipment.
Oh
Because I
yeah.
remember when I was at the YMCA in the 80s, when I was 14 and 15, that thing, we used that. Matter of fact, we kept solid plates on it because it could
Yeah.
hold so much weight, and it was just bolted to the wall.
No
It
kidding.
wasn't really just a standalone piece. It was just bolted literally to the cement wall, and it had a little bit of a kind of the bench or the backrest underneath it with nothing other than just the backrest, and it was slightly declined, and your ass hung off the end of it.
It's definitely an exercise that's fallen out of favor. I think the last time I saw, someone of note doing it was like the Ian Valliere and Chris Bumstead video, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago when they were training for the Olympia and they were doing it. And I think they went pretty heavy, but I haven't seen any pros or any good guys really taking that exercise seriously, just because I think from the danger and the fear factor.
Sure.
The form
Great
on
for
this
calf
hack.
presses, though. Great for calf presses.
The form on this hack is amazing. Like the speed that you're controlling this. This is like painful basically to watch. Like I can see what you're doing, man. Like this is brutal. It's hard for me to tell without how it's edited. It's hard for me to tell how close you're getting to failure because we don't always see the whole set. You know what I mean? But like you're struggling there. Like that rep, you know, it's not going up.
I'm still trying to figure out, even for me, like what my own threshold of not really going to that failure zone is.
Yeah.
I'm still learning it, but no, I do know I stop at least a rep or two shy for the most part.
Yeah.
That's
cool.
Very good control. And I think another thing that needs to be said about intensity is sometimes we tend to think that we can see it outwardly, but true intensity it's internal. You can get into the screaming and you can get into the spit coming out of your mouth and blood coming out of your eyeball or whatever, and we can go, wow, that's crazy, that's intense, man. But the intensity really is internal. It's what you feel versus what you're projecting outwardly.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I was asking if Nick ever trained with like Branch Warren, because people always say, "Oh, Branch Warren trains so intense," right? But it's like, yeah, there's a lot of locomotion and momentum going on with every single one of those reps. So it's like, how intense on the muscle intended is it really? Versus this super slow, controlled, intentful repetitions.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I've done like a Branch Warren, his style at one point just to kind of see how it would go.
Yeah.
I prefer this style. I feel like I got a lot more out of this than I would his way. And that's not me, disrespecting his way, because his way obviously worked for him, but
Sure.
it didn't really work for me. I felt more joint pain than anything.
Yeah. I guess it's kind of working for you. I mean, I can see around the edges. It's, you're making some progress.
Yeah, a little bit. And for anybody, what would you say to anybody who, because look, it's going to be said, someone's listening to the podcast or they're seeing your videos where there is this, I'm going to call it hyper control. I think it's great, but other people will see it as almost too controlled, maybe. And they may say, you know what, he's a genetic freak, so he's going to recover and he can get away with it, but I can't do that. What do you say to that?
Either speed it up a touch or just do less volume.
I would, and I don't disagree. I would almost argue, like if somebody said to me, well, Nick gets away with that because of his, the fact that he's a genetic freak and he can recover so much better. The fact that all the signs point towards the lower intensity, the less stress on the system of being more intense and the less stress on joints and everything else. I don't know how the average person, and I'm going to use myself as an example because I have mediocre genetics at best. I don't know why I wouldn't benefit from it, arguably better than you. You could do wrong shit, Nick. You could do your training kind of all fucked up and you'd still grow. You may not grow optimally, but you're going to still be bigger than me doing everything. If I'm over here going, I'm going to be Mr. Meticulous and I'm going to do everything right. I'm going to be limited by that. So I would argue that for myself and for people with mediocre genetics who may be listening going, well, I don't know, Phil, Nick is going to be big no matter what. So it just works for him. It won't work for me. I would say really give it a fair shot if you're able to generate the intensity necessary. Because if you're not and you don't have the experience in the gym, then you're not going to be able to do that.
Like I always do at least 2 sets, at least, sometimes 3. And for someone that says, "Oh, well, with how slow you go and this and that, I can't recover with that type of volume." Listen, at the end of the day, it's like anything. Less is more. If you can literally do 1 set and that's all you need, good job.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've always said too, if you go low,
you'll hit it again. You're going to hit it again in 3 to 4 days. So if you can literally maximize results and only do 1 set for every exercise, I don't see a problem.
And if you do happen to think or get to the point after, let's say you do this for 6 weeks and you're like, you know what, it's just not enough work. You're not overtrained, you're undertrained. Like from a sensical standpoint, I don't think that would happen, that you'd be undertrained, but you would tend to be undertrained if you weren't doing enough volume. So you could always increase it from there and find where your sweet spot is. But if you go too much and it's too much volume and it's too frequent, then you find yourself overtrained. When you go to back off, you may not see those benefits right away because you're still in an overtrained state. So
Yes.
my advice as a trainer to anybody listening would be like, you know what, back off, stay lower on the volume, let that build so that you know you're coming in recovered, and start to just assess whether it's going to work over a period of time, not over the course of 1 or 2 or 3 weeks. Give it 6, 8, 10, 12 weeks. That way you get an accurate assessment of whether you're starting to progress and whether you're like, oh man, I'm not as beat up. I'm not as, or beat down after the workout. So my CNS isn't fried. I'm sleeping better. I feel fuller walking around, which I think is a good point, Nick, that doesn't get discussed enough. If you walk around all the time, especially in a surplus, and you just don't feel full, that says something. If 3 days after training a muscle group, you're beat down, I mean, you should be walking around, especially if you're running growth and everything. There shouldn't be a fullness issue if you've got enough calories and gear in you. I mean, come on.
You should feel pumped almost every day.
Yeah. Hey, I got a question for you, completely off topic. What do you think of Bumstead competing in an open?
Well, that was my question.
I think it's fantastic. And I wouldn't be surprised if he won.
So, yeah, my question was going to be Martin or C-Bum in the coming weeks.
Listen, I can't. That's putting me on the spot there.
That's going to be the title of our episode. Nick Walker says.
Exactly.
Yeah. We've never seen Chris in the open yet, right? So this would be the true test. But I think Chris, even with how tall he is, you put another. According to him, he wants to come in 10 pounds heavier. That's a full Chris Bumstead that we have never seen before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what is that going to look like? And I see him all the time. Chris is not a small guy by any means. No. Trust me. He's already a big boy. So now that we're going to see what an actual Chris looks like in his best form, that's to me, that's dangerous. That's dangerous. And he has potential to win it.
I just sent Scott a link because someone showed me this picture in the gym yesterday. And I kind of
Is it his front lat spread?
Not well. That's an amazing shot on him, but no, it's the side chest.
That one's freaky too.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Oh wow.
I mean,
it's a different look than
that's
someone like Nick
say.
or someone like Hottie or someone like Derek, because obviously the height factor, but you don't see any gaps. And with him filled out, I mean, I think he's got a prettier physique than Martin. I wouldn't be surprised if he wins this thing.
It's going to be fun. I think that lat spread is more, I think, pleasing overall. I'm going to throw that one up here.
Well, so his lat spread, but it's no secret. Taller guys are going to have better lat spreads because you have a slightly longer waist, so you're going to make it look more accentuated with wider shoulders. Sure. Guys with look at 212 guys when they hit a front lat spread. It's almost like another most muscular. So it's not an artistic.
Unless you're
not
Keon.
a very flowy shot. Unless you're Keon. But I'm saying you remember when Jose Raymond used to hit it, it's is he hitting the shot or is he just kind of pushing his shoulders forward? And that's no disrespect to Jose because he's got so much friggin' muscle. That's what I'm saying. Whereas Chris, longer limbs, you see a nice taper.
All right.
Just a more beautiful shot in a sense on a taller guy. What I was impressed with on that side chest, how I could see him holding his own in a lineup. Maybe he's not going to win that shot on Martin and some of the other guys, but I don't know. Maybe he will actually.
Oh, he's going to hold his own though.
Yeah.
It's a damn good shot. So, yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be wild. I think it's going to be cool for bodybuilding too overall, It's
bodybuilding wins with this one. And it's funny because I think that Chris he's got giant balls because arguably he has nothing to prove.
I think
he has nothing to, in a sense, he has a little bit, it could be argued to lose. We aren't going to think so.
I don't think so.
No, I know. I don't think we think so. But I think the fans in general, I can hear them chirping now. What would you do?
No matter
he's putting himself out there, but God damn.
No matter what happens, I don't care what happens. There's going to be people walking away from that show. Say Chris doesn't win, people are still going to say, "But I still would want to look like that guy."
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because everybody loves Chris. So there's
he's going to win no matter what. One more question. So if Chris wins, does he have to do the Open Olympia?
I mean, that's his choice. But if he does, I mean, now he's got a whole year to prep for that.
Yeah.
That's dangerous. You know
Yeah.
what
I
I
mean,
mean?
maybe he's like, you know what, my lifestyle's better now that I'm not having to eat, child-sized portions of protein, and
Yeah.
and maybe I can up the vitamin T a little bit, going into the show instead of using some of these lower doses I hear. Maybe he's like, bodybuilding's fun again, and I'm not trying to stay in a weight cap. I'm really bodybuilding, and I'm going to give it one more good go.
I had all his health
I
checked
wouldn't.
out.
If
Everything's
he
good.
wins, I wouldn't be surprised if he decided to do it.
Dude, that would be incredibly wild.
It would be. Yeah. I
The
tell you what,
IFBB
I
would love
would-
him too for the rest of his
sure.
life.
Oh yeah,
Count on it.
yeah.
Yeah,
As if
count
they
on
don't
it.
already.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
I'll be
but
honest.
the
I
amount of-
thought that Classic was one of the most exciting things to watch, and I'm not even like a real big Classic guy. Like I'm not following all the guys real close, but just the show they put on was pretty freaking cool. It was entertaining to see and to see Chris.
I love Classic.
Yeah,
Same.
yeah. They just Chris's presence up there. Like I could see like, oh man, yeah, this is something special. So
Mike gave him a run though too.
I think
Yeah.
Classic is very entertaining, and I'm very excited to see how it goes now with Chris being gone. And I personally think if Mike shows up the way he did this year, next year, maybe even slightly improved, he'll win.
yeah,
I agree,
I'd like to see
100%.
that.
Because I felt like it was like a Chris and Mike show, and obviously that's how they did the call outs,
was.
but it was a Chris and Mike show, and then there was everyone else. And that's not saying everyone else looked off or bad or anything. I
Right.
just think
No,
that
Mike was just that good.
he was that good. No one expected Mike to level up that much,
Hell no.
DC training for the win.
Is that what he does?
Yeah. Scott
I
Stevenson
didn't know.
called it because Scott watches his stuff because it's in German, and so Scott translates it all. And he had been doing a DC like split and talking about that, and Scott called it like 2 weeks out from the Olympia. He said, "There's this guy, who's been doing this DC like training, and he's made this incredible progress." And then after the Olympia, then everybody was like, "Oh yeah, Scott Stevenson called it." He didn't intentionally call it, but
Yeah, gotcha.
yeah.
So Nick, what's the rest of this year look like for you? Are you looking at the Arnold?
No, I won't do the Arnold. I don't think that's enough time. I
Okay.
do feel I lost a decent amount of size, so I want to solidify majority of that back before entering a prep. Depending on how the year goes, I definitely want to do more than just one show now. Even though I did New York Pro, I kind of just feel like I had a 2-year off season to a degree. So I kind of want to just want to be like Samson and just do multiple shows and say fuck it. So we'll see. I have a couple shows in mind. I'm not going to say them just yet, but they're probably going to be more back to back to back to back, which will make things a little easier.
It's also pretty easy to figure out which those shows might be.
What's back to back? Look at the
So
schedule.
that's your biggest hint.
Yeah. That makes sense though, because I had somebody say, "Oh man, I was really bummed about Nick. Hopefully he'll do the Arnold." And instantly I was like, "Well, listen, if you're going to do the Arnold and it's October now, and you've
I
just
gotta
been
start prep,
dieting."
like next pretty much next week. So,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you've already been dieting, so it's like, what kind of time did you have to really get?
Well, I
where
just
you wanna
wondered
be?
how much that payday increase kind of like perked your ears up a little bit.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
bro,
No, well, okay. Look, it's 600,000 or 500K. Like, yeah, it's a lot of money, and money always will spark anyone's interest. But I also don't want to show up with a physique that's like, oh yeah, Nick looks good.
Sure.
For me now with how the past 2 years went, I need to show up where people go, oh fuck, yeah, Nick's back. You know what I
Yep,
mean?
exactly.
I can't just show up anymore. I have to fucking blow minds at this point.
Yeah.
Does that make it more stressful? Do you feel that?
No. To me, it'll make it more funner because I think I thrive in a certain threshold of pressure. And when I meet my own expectations, I just think it works out in my favor.
That's
I don't like when I hear things on the internet and all that stuff. That stuff never bothers me. I never give a shit. Any type of pressure that I just put it on myself for the most part. So this time around, it's like I know what I have to do, but I'm not gonna like just dwell on that.
Yeah.
I want to just do what I do best and have fun with it, and that's when I'll progress the most.
It's a nice consolation when I read something negative on social media about you, and I know immediately that it bothers me more than it bothers you.
I get that.
Like I just
yeah.
want to get in there and I want to wreck them and go. You look at you. Do you even get an opinion? Like why are you even saying anything?
Yeah,
But
how
then
are
I
you
know that it
qualified?
just
Well,
rolls off. Yeah, exactly. But I know it rolls off your back, so it's easier for me to just
oh,
move on and go fuck it.
well, because it's two things, right? Like majority of the people that talk shit, especially in recent events, like no, they don't know the whole gist of the story. So this is, they're all just forming their own opinions and speculations,
Right.
or it's just people that can't do much in the bodybuilding realm, so they just kind of want to knock somebody down when they're already down to make
Sure.
themselves feel better about the situation.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
or three, they just can't accomplish what you've accomplished, and that's cool. But I also know a lot of these people that would talk shit. I'm bad with names, but I'm good with faces. A lot of these motherfuckers would be in my line at meet and greets, telling me they're my fans and
Oh,
want to take
sure.
photos.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
and I don't say anything, but I always giggle. And I'm like, sure, man, let's take a picture.
Yeah, give me your money.
You know who
Yeah,
isn't talking
I'm
crap?
like, I
It's
remember you. Let's take a
Yeah.
picture.
you know who isn't
Yeah.
talking crap is guys like Samson or Derek or Hottie. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like it's never
Oh.
those people that are saying
Never your
something.
peers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
Because what are you talking shit for? You worry about yourself. Like if like even for me, when I see shit on the internet that could slightly bother me, I'm not gonna talk shit. One, because I don't really care that much, and I got my own shit to worry about. And two, I don't know the whole story. So what am I gonna?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna chime
Yeah.
in on that shit. And I just
Yeah.
think in this day and age, it's like it's social media. Like whatever happened to just handling shit like fucking men or women and just talking that shit out and letting it be that. Now everybody wants to go on the internet and do this and do that. I'm like, fuck all that. I'm good, man. Keep me
Yeah.
out.
Yep.
Right on.
And I'm nodding over here, but Andrew and Scott know that I love wrecking people who like to wreck other people.
We have to stop
I
him.
do. I just it just burns in my soul. I can't. I don't know if it's a holdover from the message board days, but I just have this thing with people who want to belittle I don't even like to use the word troll because I think it's an understatement. I think there are just some truly shitty, miserable people out there, and I just want to make them feel even shittier and more miserable.
Well, again, there's a time and a place for everything, right? Like if you gotta call somebody out over excessive behavior, then fuck, you do what you gotta do and make it known and call them out. But like in certain instincts, if it's just like a one-on-one thing, instead of running to the internet, just fucking
Yeah.
handle it face to face
Mhm.
and go about your
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Yep, that doesn't happen anymore though.
Yeah.
No.
Plus, you can't touch anybody. Don't ask me how I know, but I know.
Skip learned his lesson.
Yeah, that Uber driver, boy, I tell you, that cost me a lot of money, let me tell you. I can laugh about it now, but Andrew and Scott know I was not laughing about it at that time. 6-8 months.
I'm sure.
That hit me pretty hard.
Yeah.
It is what it
I
is.
had a situation like that 2 days ago, Skip,
Really?
when I just got done training legs, and you guys know like DOMS, right? Delayed onset muscle soreness. I didn't have DOMS. I had like
Yeah.
OMS, like it just onset muscle soreness. It was the weirdest thing. Like my muscles, like they were beyond sore. They were like pain. They were in pain. It wasn't like most leg workouts you get out of there, they're fatigued and it feels good in a way, right? These just hurt.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm driving. Me and Rachel were driving out of MI40, and these two little punk kids were like walking across the street in front of us. It's like, okay, no big deal, slow down. But then this kid just kept on walking right in the middle of the lane, like walking slow. And I'm like, after 2 seconds, I'm like banging on the horn, and this little kid in a little tank top, he's probably $165, maybe $175, like turned around and started talking shit. And of course, my first instinct was like, fuck, I'm getting out of the car. I'm going to show this kid. But then it's like, oh, dude, my legs are so sore. I'm going to get my ass kicked by a 160-pound kid because I can't even move right now.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the way it
Even
goes.
if I try to get out or I think about getting out, Melissa will immediately, because I have a very alpha wife, she will immediately reach over, like I would if it were her, and grabbed my arm, looking at me like, don't. And I'm like, what? I just wasn't. It's a nice check and balance.
Well, yeah, but your first
Yeah.
instinct is to do what you want to do, but then your second instinct with age and wisdom is like, oh wait, I got a lot more to lose than that kid. Like, I slap him around,
100%.
I'm going to get a charge. I'm going to pay $10,000 for an attorney, and then be on a freaking minor fucking, I don't know, some kind of list for assaulting somebody. Or it's just like that split instant, like of you're like, I'm going to do this, and then it's like, wait a minute, reality sets in. Like, don't throw your life away over this little punk.
Sure.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
And it goes a lot deeper than most think. Let's say you would have gotten out of the vehicle. You would have been only getting out of the vehicle to make a statement, and it would have made a statement, but he may have felt backed into a corner. So he was talking shit, and it does come to blows. You get charged. The prosecutor finds out who you are because apparently he got sand kicked in his face when he was younger. And you want to fight it. And they decide, well, let's get him to submit to a drug test, and you still have nandrolone in your system from 12 years ago. Hey, look, stranger things have happened. I had a friend go to prison one time. Prison that was low. It was federal. It was 4 gear. Went to prison. Was in minimum security. They randomly drug tested him. He popped for nandrolone, which
because it's still
his
in the
attorney
system.
was
18
arguing.
months.
16, 18 months.
Yeah.
And he was in solitary. He went from minimum security federal, which is a joke. They would sneak out at night over the hill to have sex with their wives and come back. I mean, this is how minimal security it was, right? And they popped him in solitary. Like, are you kidding? That's enough right there to scare me. I don't want to be on anybody's radar. So now I just let shit ride as much as I can let it ride.
And the moral of the story is don't take DECA. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Fast-acting esters that clear very, very quickly if you're going to smack somebody.
There you go.
That's a good point.
Nick, we appreciate you taking the time to hang out with us, man. It's good to see you. Good to see you and see how everything's going. And we're all looking forward to seeing, how things unfold, how you move forward. And I'm of the mindset, man, I want to see you take as much time as you need. You know what I mean? No rush, no Arnold Classic. I just want to see you be your best. And my thought was that you have 3 more years before you reach the point that Jay became Mr. Olympia. So Jay was his best at 33 years old. So you got some time on your side still. And I want you to take all the time you need, man.
And if it goes past 33, just remember Dexter Jackson. There's a lot of time there. There's a lot of time,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
Well, Nick, if you head over to the West Coast, let me know, dude. If you ever come to MI40 or come this way, let me know. We'll link up and train or something.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Or if you get to Raw on the other side of the state, I won't train with you because I'm a pussy. But I would come and be like, hey, bro.
Skip likes to go to failure. That's why he won't
do you
train
need water?
with you.
Like in between
it's too
sets, I'd come
hardcore.
up like you were on the sidelines of a football game, and I'd be like putting the water in your body. Or you could brush me back. Like, no, I don't need it right now.
Do this again. Do that again.
Yeah. So, okay, go back in there. You get this next set. I'll be waiting for you over here. If you need a towel, if you need some water, so I got you.
No, with your mouth open and the hands up here.
I know what you I know.
I'm getting ready to
trying
screenshot.
go right over the top. You are.
All right, guys, for another episode of
I
Blood,
got it.
Sweat, and Gear with Skip Hill, Andrew Barry, I'm Scott McNally, and we are joined by the one and only Nick Walker. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.